Hi everybody, Nick Blazier here with another position analysis video. These are coming out every Monday and Thursday, so subscribe to the channel and like the videos if you enjoy these. There'll always be more interviews on Fridays too, and yeah, all kinds of things cooking right now. My book's still doing well online too, so if you're interested in that, go check it out on Amazon. We're in the works as I record this of working on the UBC finals too. And so I have my ad from that on here now, which is exciting. Wilson made something real pretty, and I think I'll stank that for my videos too. Um, Also, I really appreciate all the feedback about the videos, and a couple people have said like watching them on their phones, it's a little bit small and stuff. So experimenting with another format. Hopefully, you can see the board in this one. It's interesting to work with XG just because it's got its own layout and stuff, but I can pull out pieces and kind of focus on the parts that I want to, and we'll see how this goes, this way. Um, so yeah, here we go. We have a normal score. We have a 6-3 to play. We're behind a 5 prime with a 22-point anchor. And what should we do? Should we run and potentially be attacked, or or should we find some other quiet play? These are the tricky game plan decisions that we get presented in the mid to late game where we need some sort of decisive action around what's going to lead us to the best end result here. And this one tricked me. It's from my like categorized blunders in my Evernote. And so, yeah, you've had some time to look at it, and I'll talk about the play after we see it. But here we go. We'll pull up the analysis panel here now. And in this one, we should stay by a fairly wide margin. And I got tricked into running in this one because I was primed, and I thought for now my opponent was primed as well. Maybe that would make sense to try to just find mobility. But my prime isn't strong enough. I can see that if if I run and my opponent attacks me, well, they're not going to have too much trouble escaping this gappy 4 prime later, right? Aces and threes to step up, and then not a lot to hop over from there. So it doesn't have a lot of value that way. However, when I play 2 down, well, now I have a whole bunch in the zone to maybe make the 5 point, make a real prime, really challenge him, and prevent that 23 point from escaping. So I think a lot of the challenge of this position comes from needing to focus in on our opponent's back checkers on the 23 point and what the best thing is we can do, give him a hard time riding home. Also, Black's running out of time to do much else, so they really want to address those back checkers, and playing 2 down like this puts the most pressure on those. Also, our opponent does have a spare on the prime, which gives a little more attacking potential and a little more risk with running here. So yeah, kind of to hone in on some of these ideas, I think a really good way to study these positions is to make little manipulations to the position and see if you can get the result to change, and see if it's by how much, if it's what you expect, and kind of make predictions about what will happen. So in this position, what if we move the checker back to the midpoint that was on there? Now when we run, or our decision between the two, um, now we have a less attacking threat if we do run, is what I'm getting at. With only 10 in the zone, and our opponent's not going to want to break their prime to attack, so less numbers do that. And also, if we play 2 down, timing is a little bit better for our opponent. Maybe our opponent actually has the better timing for a priming game. And maybe the way to see this too is that the pip count, we're going to be ahead 19 pips after the roll now, right? So this feels like it should change quite a bit strategically about the position. And if we check this out, it turns out it's enough. Yeah. So now we should just run and focus on the prime. And that's the game plan at stake here. If our opponent tries to escape our prime now, or if they try to attack us, they have to break the prime. And if they try to escape now, well, that's okay with us because we're winning the race and we're happy to just break contact. Another curiosity I had was we're doing a good job of priming our opponent right now. So what if they're at the edge of the prime? Would this make any difference to your play? We're still not leaving a direct when we play down here. We're still under threat of being attacked. And now if our opponent attacks, they don't have to step up to the edge and they can just escape. it feels like the attacking risk is still about the same. The race is very similar, and the timing issues are very similar. So if we take a look at this, well, it changes it a little bit, but not by too much. Not enough to make the two down play worse. And we're seeing it has impact, but not as a big an impact as the spare on the 6 point did. Um, so yeah, one other variation I thought of is instead of having to well, what if they're at an even higher anchor here, right? Now they're ahead in the race a little bit. We're playing more of a mutual holding game. We don't have priming potential. But my issue with this position, well, I guess we could just play down here, or behind here. So would we want to try to run and play that game plan here, or now do we want to just try to play a holding game and hope for our chances there? This is another interesting one to look at. And here we can just break a point and play for mobility and wait a little longer. And running and being attacked, this is more like a mutual holding game, right? So so all the stars kind of align to be able to run here. If it's purely priming threat, we're ahead in the race, all these kinds of things, and the blitzing potential isn't so high. So we're really seeing this checker here distinguish itself quite a bit in the prime versus attack kind of game plan. And so now we can ask, okay, if my opponent has a high anchor and they have, again, just the pure priming position and not so much the attack, now is it a good time to go? And it is. So it seems like it has a lot to do with these spares on the prime, and black's position is just so well deployed here with all 10 checkers working towards their priming structure, and they're not going to want to give up any of those to attack. But as soon as we bring an extra checker in the zone, the attacking threat goes up a ton. And that seems to be the primary feature no matter what we do with our black's back checkers for the most part, though that does have some impact as well. So yeah, these can still be very difficult. You can see that little tweaks to the position kind of make big differences in it. Um, and actually, one other one that I was curious about was what if we have a flush prime instead, and our opponent has a little bit more work to hop over it. Now sitting on the prime looks a little bit more desirable in a way because it can work out better, and we're a little further advanced. But but also when we are attacked, our prime's doing a little more work to pen in our opponent. So I'm curious if this is strong enough. I don't think so. And yeah. So we see this is still one where we're going to play quiet in the end and respect this extra checker here. We can see it in the numbers over here if you look closely too, that our opponent is winning full 8% more gammons, and we do win a little bit more games just playing down as well. But yeah, I hope looking at some of these kind of helps you test and get a feel for when you need to run and when you need to stay, and what our opponent's ideal game plan is. They can still be attacking here um, and threatening us that way. And so we have to respect the attack when there's the extra checker in the zone. Seems to be like the big theme. Race incorporated in this too. But then we can run when we don't have the extra. Cool. I'll leave this one at that. Let me know how this format worked too. The layout, I think you should be able to see a whole lot more on the screen there. And yeah, I'll be back with more position analysis in a few days. So thanks, everybody.